Rogers MasterCard, the best no annual fee cashback card in Canada. Visit rogersbank.com.
Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Meredith, Tammy, and Sid here with you. Good morning. Quickly, going back a few months, some of you may remember the story of the National Hockey League and Pride jerseys, warm-up jerseys, on Pride nights at arenas in and around the league. There was a lot of publicity around some players not doing it. A lot of players did, wearing warm-up jerseys. Some players, for whatever reason, would not. The NHL, after the year, in cooperation with the Players Association, we have to say, said we're not doing the warm-up jerseys for any cause. Military night, hockey conquers cancer, any of that. That's the NHL. It is what it is. So recently, somebody went through the rule book and realized that the NHL is also banning Pride tape from pregame warm-ups in games, like just the hockey tape on the sticks. Player uniforms and gear cannot be altered to reflect theme nights, is how it read, including Pride, Hockey Fights Cancer, or Military Appreciation. This is the tape we're talking about. Players can voluntarily participate, according to the league, in themed celebrations off the ice. The Maple Leafs say they are still going to support the 2S LGBTQ plus community. There was a lot of quotes on this from around the National Hockey League yesterday. One of the most important to me was Morgan Riley of the Toronto Maple Leafs, who has been an advocate for a long, long time. I think it's important you hear it.
But, you know, I think as players and as people and individuals, we're going to continue to support those people and those causes that we think need it or are worthy and, you know, very deserving of it. So, I mean, whatever statement was made is fine. But, you know, as players, we're going to continue to offer support and, you know, be allies. And, you know, we want to be a part of this community.
This one caught some people off guard because there was no formal announcement. It was kind of in the rule book. It was hidden for some obvious PR reasons. It's not hidden anymore. Meredith Shaw.
Well, first of all, thank you, Morgan Riley. I mean, that is the response. I was reading about Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly defending, obviously, the league's position, saying we had some issues last year with players feeling uncomfortable in supporting certain causes, and we didn't want our players to be put in that situation going forward. I don't think that kind of discomfort can be upheld in 2023. I don't think, as a league who is purporting to be hockey for everyone, that you can then act in a way that is very exclusionary. And, you know, hockey players and what happens on that ice gets reflected everywhere. So many young kids are watching this. And when you make that kind of ruling at that kind of level, on that kind of league, the ripple effect, I don't even want to think about it. And, you know, we've been talking all morning. I'm going to the game tonight. Quite frankly, it makes me uncomfortable. I'm a strong ally of this community. I always have been. I'm like, I don't know, am I wrapping myself in Pride tape tonight? What am I doing? Because as a longtime fan, not that my discomfort matters over someone else's, I guess, but I'm uncomfortable.
Jamie?
And you talk about discomfort, the league acknowledging the discomfort of a few players when it comes to those theme nights. What about acknowledging the discomfort of a player who feels like they can't come out while they're in the NHL or the OHL or in any hockey league just because of the fact that this is not widely embraced? That discomfort is completely being washed away and swept under the rug by not doing this.
In a time where we're seeing over and over and over again the rights of the LGBTQ plus community being limited.
Right.
And this is not the time to pull back on your commitments. This is a time to be progressive. This is a time for this league to own the next 10 years. And this is not what the next 10 years looks like. Period.
If you're trying to give the players who feel that discomfort the agency to make their own decision if they want to wear something that is Pride related or themed related, theme night related, then why don't you give that same agency to players like Morgan Riley who may want to use that Pride tape and just show that symbolically that they are there, that they are allies, that they stand by the community. I don't understand why that isn't something that can be accepted. I feel like the discomfort of a few as well as the discomfort discomfort of possibly their fan base. I wonder if they're worried that the fan base may react.
Well, again, the Players Association at some level was involved in this. That's not excusing any of this. Look, I mean, but to your point about players still going forward, I call on Morgan and Connor McDavid, who also spoke on this yesterday, and any player around the league who thinks this is a ridiculous decision. What's the league going to do about it? Going to suspend Connor McDavid for wearing tape in a pregame warmup? Suspend Morgan Riley, the Leafs' best defenseman? Really? How do you explain that to Rodgers and Bell and everyone paying billions of dollars for hockey rights, how players are sitting out? I dare the National Hockey League to come down on a player like that. So I hope that any player who still wants to do this, because apparently you were saying that the Pride tape is now flying off the shelves after the story online.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Apparently the distributor of this Pride tape,
Right.
they've been inundated by requests for it. And that's amazing.
But we're at the point, I'm not surprised that this happened. I'm still angry this happened. I'm not surprised that this happened. Like, I remember the Provorov story earlier this year that got 4 million views online like that, and the feedback was not great. Like, the Mike Babcock story just happened going through players' phones. What do you think he was looking for? What do you think he was looking for? Let's have that conversation, the conversation no one wants to have. This is not an inclusive game. But I'm not stunned, because if I look for any moral high ground or leadership, I go through a lot of other leagues, a lot of advocacy groups, this coffee table, and the NHL's below it. I'm not looking at the NHL for a thing. Not for a thing. So I'm not surprised by this. But kids are. But the history says, don't be surprised. That's the reality of it. And I love hockey, and you love hockey, but this is where it is. So I'm angry. I'm not surprised they did this, but I'm angry. And I call on some of the most important players in the league to tell them where to go on it, and to take a walk, and to do what they need to do to support communities and hockey fans and people who love hockey across the game, regardless of the walk of life, regardless of who you are. And I hope that happens. And based on what I heard yesterday, it might. We're going to take a break. Coming up, news with Tammy. Also coming up, Frankie is going to learn the secret behind the famous Piri Piri chicken at Mario's. These images have been amazing all morning long.
You're drooling, Sid.
They're going to get more amazing. I am. More BT coming up.